What's going on, everyone? It's your middle-aged horror guy here, back for another movie review. Now, today we're going to be reviewing Fear Street's Prom Queen. Now, full disclosure, I've seen a lot of other YouTubers give this movie a lot of shit, saying how it's unoriginal, it's very generic, and why everyone is entitled to their own opinions. I think differently. So, does this movie deserve all the hate? Well, let's discuss. So, the basic premise of Fear Street's Prom Queen is it takes place in 1988 in the fictional town of Shadyside, where at Shadyside High, a bunch of different girls decide to run for prom queen, and one by one, they get killed off by a mysterious masked stranger. Of those group of girls, we have Anita Foyer as Lori Granger. She's basically the shy but likable girl, but she's also sort of a high school outcast because in that town of Shadyside, her family has a dark past. Next up, we have Tiffany Falcone, who's basically the popular mean girl of the high school, who's also the leader of a group of mean girls called the Wolfpack, who are all ironically running for prom queen as well. And boy, is Tiffany a bitch. You really grow to hate her character. At least I did. She's a real fucking bitch. Now, my favorite character in the movie was Lori's best friend, Megan Rogers. She's basically an outcast like Lori, but she's also a horror nerd and doesn't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. I guess that's why I like her so much. I mean, this girl is horror obsessed. She has horror movie posters all over her bedroom wall. She reads Fangoria magazine. She even pulls bloody, disgusting pranks at school. I guess that's why I relate to her so much. I would like to think that I would be just like her if I was a teenager growing up in the 1980s. I think it adds to the 80s time period that this movie takes place in. Now, to my pleasant surprise, there were a lot of cool creative kills in the movie that were pretty gruesome and made good use of practical effects, which I was surprised, being this a Netflix movie in 2024, I expected to see a lot of CGI. And while I'm sure there was some CGI, it seemed to be a lot of practical effects in the kills, and I really appreciate that. I think it pays good homage to 1980s slashers set in that time period. Now, another thing that looked really well was the great soundtrack. From Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now to Duran Duran's Hungry Like a Wolf, I feel that really added to the 1980s vibe of the movie, which is important since the movie took place in 1988, and really adds to the 80s nostalgia that we all crave. Now, with that being said, I do understand some of the criticisms of the movie. Yes, the plot was kind of generic. We've seen this plot 100 times. The characters were a little generic, nothing special. And overall, the final reveal, while I enjoyed it, I can understand why some people would find it predictable and unoriginal. However, I feel the final reveal was done really well, and even though it was a little predictable, I feel it gave a satisfying conclusion to the film and its characters. Now, does the ending try to copy the Scream franchise a little too much? Sure, maybe, but nevertheless, I still think it was really well done and I enjoyed it. Now, with all that being said, I'll admit Prom Queen is nothing special. It doesn't really add anything new to the horror genre. However, I still think there's a lot to like about this film. From the gruesome kills, to the 80s soundtrack, to the 80s nostalgia that we all enjoy, I think if you're an 80s horror fan like me, you'll really like this movie. I'm going to give this movie 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. And I think if you're an 80s horror fan like me, you will too. Now, this may be a little controversial, but I really enjoyed this film. In fact, I think I even enjoyed it a little bit more than the Fear Street trilogy that Netflix did about 4 years ago. Fear Street Prom Queen is currently on Netflix. Check it out. I highly recommend it. Now, with all that out of the way, I want to know what you guys think. Did you really enjoy this movie? Or did you think it was just another generic slasher movie? Whatever you think, I want to know down below. And please subscribe if you could. I'd really appreciate it. Well, that's all the time we have for the day. Remember, I'm your middle-aged horror guy, reminding you that you can love horror at any age. I'll see you next time.